So what is gonna be worth your time, money, and energy is set your Google Maps to the Salagdoong Resort. We've got a couple jump platforms here. I mean, this thing is, dude, that must be 10 meters.
10 meters, yeah.
10 meters off the water? And this one's like 1 meter lower. You can't jump right now because it's low tide. But this is like a come spend a day thing. I don't know if you can see the color and clarity. That water is doggone beautiful. Oh, are you gonna let me? We are high up. You got ladders. So it's a 50 peso entry to use everything. And you can stay here for the whole day. They have restrooms. You can see over there, they've got tables, umbrella things, and there's like stairways to get down into the water. Kind of like the one waterfall. This is one where I'd say, oh yeah, grab your things. You know, you can get food on the highway on your way in. You can get food when you're here. So you got a couple jump points. Can you see? One of the platforms, that one. They're letting people jump because it's much lower. The water's deeper right there. So the beach, you know, everybody can, the whole family, everybody can hang out here all day. But they close it at 5 o'clock at night. So they said, those guys were saying, oh, come at 8 o'clock in the morning and just spend the whole day here. Yes, please. So it's like a rock outcropping. All these rock stairs everywhere. This, you know, there's a surprising number of people considering from, it's a long motorbike ride over here. I want to start by giving you some success tips. Starting with, I've seen a lot of videos where people say, oh, you know, cell phone reception, you need to have a chip in your phone from both of the companies. Wrong, that is false. What you need to do is every time you change islands in the Philippines or arrive in a new city on a big island, restart your phone. You've jumped cell tower networks, and that like succeeds every single time at just kind of resetting the system. Number two, if you have a VPN on your phone and something is wonky, go in, and even if it's like not in the on position, go in and unblock the internet activity. Why it does it, I don't know, but it happens all the time, and it can prevent you from doing Google Maps successfully. Speaking of Google Maps, the inland highways around this island are far more beautiful, far more fun, far less traffic than the circumferential road on this island. Before you cut into the hills inland, click your route from a start point and end point, hit go, and even though it'll yell out at you while you're traveling, oh, GPS lost, cell phone, guess what? It keeps you on track. It'll call out your turns or keep you on your correct path with a lack of turns. This has happened to me. You go up into those mountains, the villages where they're like, oh my gosh, it's an Afam, it's a white person. They must be totally lost. And they're correct. But then once you realize you're lost, you have an intersection you get to in the middle of a village, and like the basketball court of that barangay is the intersection. And you're like, where do I go? Guess what? No cell phone reception. You can't reset your route. So start it before you cut inland. Oh! So I know what you're thinking. Where is he? On Siquijor right now, and how did he find this? Well, let me start by saying, if you leave that Salagdoong Resort at 5 o'clock when it closes, you can put this waypoint into your map, and you will take the highway through Middle Mountain that wins my vote for best all-around road for your motorbiking, for in terms of beauty, just enough technical challenge to it that it's fun. You got great views throughout. You pass through these mountain villages. That road goes from Maria to Larena. So then when you get down to Larena, you take a turn to the right, go up the highway for another 10 or 15 minutes. So I left at 5 from Salagdoong, got here at about 5:30, and you get here just in time for all of this. Now there's hardly any Westerners, tourists here at all, but there is a hotel right here overlooking the water, watching the sunset. They got the grills going. Food is coming out. So most everybody else was probably in a hurry to try to catch sunset back in San Juan. Boring. They won't get there in time. Oh, hi, sir. This is a much better choice. There's hardly anybody else here that looks like me. Oh, you understood what I said? So Paliton Beach, on the maps it'll show it like Little Boracay. You got to pay 20 pesos to get in. There's plenty of like motorbike parking there. 10 pesos to use the toilet, but check it out. This is your entryway. It's pretty doggone touristy, but this is a very nice place for the sunset. You know, all the normal tourist haunts, your souvenir t-shirts and necklaces. And this is the parking and entry area to Paliton Beach, closer to San Juan. This portion of it, they've definitely got more music going on here. You got these kind of bar stands. There's more of them. You know, pizza. There's more bodies hanging out here for sure. So there's extra space for you to hang today on a Sunday, but I've been here on a Friday when it was a clear, hot day, and there was nowhere. It was a party out here. That's not really my thing. I like a little more peace and quiet. But there's a pathway, so you can go back and forth between the two parking and entry points. Let's go look. So this beach is appropriately named Little Boracay. Trees to catch some shade under. We've got a swing, so you'll pay them, you'll tip them, and you know, if you're doing it for the gram, they'll throw you around, run around with your phone, getting you like a Reels kind of video. So they do the sand castles here also, but the bigger one down here, they're asking for a 25 peso donation to even take your picture in front of it. Whatever. Sun sets behind Negros Island back there. There is usually always some kind of a cloud deck over Negros. It's, you know, the volcano there. On this Little Boracay. Okay. Whoa. If you've been to Boracay, you see the resemblance. You've got the white sand trail, vendors, drinks, and the line of palms. So like a litro of Red Horse or San Miguel, 170. A shake, whether it's mango, coconut, banana, pineapple, 150 pesos. You know, and just like Boracay, it's pretty touristy because this is such an easy and nice place to hang out. But it's not a lit beach in the evening, so after it goes dark, after sunset, you're on your own out here. You can like bring your motorbike out and hang out on the beach, but there's no lighting at all, so charge on your cell phone, and you can see the stars out here. All right, so that is Coco Rico's with all the beanbag chairs and tables. It's 5 o'clock now. Over the next hour, sunset is going to be going down. They've got happy hour specials. This is kind of a central gathering point, but this will fill, all the chairs will fill. Mobile drink carts, barbecue, you know, the skewered barbecue stuff going on out here. There are a lot of beachfront establishments, but they're not all that compact. And San Juan is a much more stretched out beach town than the map would suggest. These guys will be out here till like midnight selling drinks. One of them even stays open until 2 in the morning. So the music gets pretty loud. They will have pretty well priced barbecue stuff that they're just setting up right here across the highway. And if you're not into like drinking, you know, these guys will be selling matchas, coffees and stuff like that till late at night also. That's a spring-fed pool. You are not allowed to swim in that part, but throughout there are fish in the water. It's not paved in the bottom, but it's very well built up on the sides with sidewalk. And it's just a city center park here in San Juan. Free to get in, free to park your motorbike, free to swim. The water is just cool enough that even though the fences never lock at night, I don't think I would come swim in this in the middle of the night because it cools off at night quite a bit here. But in the daytime, in the heat of the middle of the day, the water it's a beautiful turquoise color in the daytime. People out here eating and drinking. Sunset is happening right now, which is the perfect time for me to show you this. Everybody's walking away, heading to dinner, heading to the beach. So you will see this on the map. It's kind of this sharp L-shaped set of turns in San Juan. Oh, look at this. Clear traffic on the highway. Let's get across. So what we're going to do is follow that stream as it goes underground under the highway and heads out to the beach, and I'll show you more good stuff. We've crossed the highway. This is a one-way motorbike avenue through here. Here's the look around. It's called the Get Wrecked Bar. You'll see a lot of older Western foreigners in there, but check this out. So the stream, boom, it re-emerges. This water is clean enough for everybody to swim in, but you'll see that everybody down here, the locals are doing their laundry. The stream, it keeps going, takes a right-hand turn underneath, and they're making burgers on the griddle over there. You have the barbecue stand, skewered stuff. Plenty of parking. Plenty of space to sit. And if you don't like the seawall thing, you can go both directions. You're free to roam the beach. Nobody like owns the beach. And this is your sunset tonight. Just your average Siquijor night. You think I'm being obtuse when I say average. I'm totally serious. It's the temperature outside right now is perfect. There are 100 different variations of in San Juan how you can have your dinner right out on the water, watching the sunset. Everybody kind of stops what they're doing, do a little recording. But I've had dinner up there before. I've had dinner right here before. They're all a little different in terms of like how luxurious is their seating and their lighting and everything like that. But any way you slice it, you get the same effect pretty much wherever you decide to do this. Since I am hungry, we're gonna park it for a little while here at the Dalahikan Grill Masters. Now what you get on option is, it's kind of subject to whatever is fresh catch. So today, the last time I was here, they had, these are tuna, but they had these huge ones that were 350, 400 pesos. These are 100 pesos each. Squid, 250 to 400, depending on the size. Mangus, barbecued, the chicken. And I'm gonna order some of the fresh catch seafood. But if you want something other than just the fancy and expensive restaurants right out on the white sand beach with the soft buttery sound of gentle waves breaking for you, this is the most walkable part of the entire island. We're in Siquijor. That's the port activity itself. That is like a boulevard going over through a mangrove. So people will walk out there, but this is the evening thing every single night. And you will have, as we get closer to sunset, there's a guy playing his guitar and a microphone, and he is absolute magic on those strings. And it brings to life this scene that you've seen play out 100 times across the Philippines, but there is something really special about this with that music going. I love coming out here. So it's probably 4:30, 5 o'clock right now. They're finishing the setting up, but as you can see, the smoke is coming off the grills. Most of these, here's what we got. You know, you got, this should mostly look familiar. Prices are going to be right about what you're used to. All the lights come up. These ones close at 9 o'clock at night or so. You can kind of catch them until 9:30 or 10, depending on how busy it is. Today's Friday, so it will probably be quite a thing happening. Then as you get down to the end, so these are the full meal thing. They've got the soups in those pots. It's a little more of the skewered barbecue down here. These stands will stay open till 11 o'clock at night. This is an easy thing to do one night. The elevated walkway through the mangroves, and people will just be walking, hanging out. Siquijor town. So this is the top of the tower at Mount Bandilaan National Park. The root word of bandila is flag, which seems to make sense, like this is the highest point on the island. So the great thing about this is there's no entry fee to the national park. The view, totally worth it. It's quite a bit cooler temperature-wise up this high. There's a very nice breeze. The day I came up here on a cloudy day, I needed to put my pants and jacket on for riding, but today I don't need it at all. So this has been a nice couple of minutes. You don't have to stay long, but there are all places where you can sit. On Google Maps, it'll be Observation Tower or Mount Bandilaan. The road is totally beat up, so you're gonna do what I did the first time, which is turn around thinking you're lost, but you are not lost. You are looking for this. There's a parking area. There's like these crosses with biblical posters. Little technical difficulty going on there. This is the top level. There are 4 levels to this waterfall complex. They will charge you 50 pesos to do this, the ferry walk. Level 3, you can of course swim down here. You got these bamboo rafts at each level. Now we have the second level, and they have bamboo handrails so you can cross with care. On this. Okay. There's the lower level. Oh, here's the rope, the other rope swing. Oh, those are such good shots. Very worth your time and money, even if you do nothing else out on the road for a day. I'm surprised to the upside how totally fun and mostly safe. You got to watch your step a bit, use the handrails. It's a hard climb out, but you have to come do this if you're on Siquijor. This is the Lazi Church. This building is so beautiful. It's free to get in and it's open unlocked during basically like normal business hours. They're using it right now as like the high school auditorium. When the light comes in through the stained glass windows and lights up the blue ceiling, the altar, very famous. It's one of only a few cultural national treasures. The wood floor is the original polished hardwood harvested from the local area starting in the 1850s when they started building this. And the walls, the original structure, coral stone harvested right here. This place is totally worth stopping for a few minutes as you're exploring the island. once you come outside, it's a beautiful building. And you're right across the street from the old convent, which costs you 30 pesos to get in for preservation fees and stuff. The upstairs is turned into a museum now of old artifacts, but it's not an active convent. Super nice area all around the church and the convent with the big old trees everywhere. So from the main cathedral, you're looking downhill at the port activity and its main road, and just above it is a TukTuk station. The doors are not always open on the cathedral, the church itself. If it is open, there's really, really old timbers inside. I don't know how big or how old the wood is inside of this place. Coming from Dumaguete to Siquijor, 45-minute ride, cost me 315 pesos, and I bought like the economy lower deck seat. It's March of 2026, and I'm gonna show you now where I've been staying. It's called Whisley's Guesthouse. Found it on Agoda, reserved my first couple of days, and then I've been extending by cash, which I recommend on this island, because it can get pretty expensive. So there's a lot of road repair happening from Siquijor town all the way to San Juan and beyond it, because these are the most heavily trafficked parts of the island. So really, you do have to be careful. Like, don't drive too fast, and especially slow down at night, because these giant pits where they're redoing the concrete, they will sneak up on you, man. So Whisley's, regardless of what I paid on Agoda, my cash extensions have been running me 1,100 pesos per night, plus 400 pesos per 24 hours for motorbikes. So they have a handful of nicer, newer motorbikes on hand. This is their reception area. And they are working on building a covered parking area. So we're like 10 minutes ride from Siquijor town and probably 15 to 20 minutes from San Juan. And you might think to yourself, like, how horribly inconvenient. The problem is, no matter where you stay on this island, you are gonna need wheels to go do the exploring. It's just a reality you have to accept. So the really short-term stayers, they're gonna be going straight to San Juan to stay in those. You are gonna pay a much higher price in San Juan. We got sinks outside, all the lights come on at night. You have these little, so, because it does rain a fair amount on this island. It can be like crystal clear skies like it is right now, and then start raining, clear, raining. So when you're riding around, your stuff gets wet. Oh, by the way, this is one place you may want to have a jacket or, rain layer of some. It's not very hot here. Middle of the day, it's really hot. But then like at night, it can get really cold riding around. So a jacket pays off. They have this community room that's like a shared kitchen, and you just sort of, it's an honor system thing where with your room, you write what you've taken. For the water's free, but you got like rice cookers, water kettles, a sink, a cooktop. A lot of the Filipino guests use that, are making these great dinners, because just down the highway is the fruit and vegetable stands and the fresh catch fish. So I've seen people doing these huge elaborate, got some canned goods, rice, and the price they are selling you all this stuff at, of course, adult beverages. The prices are actually like better than some of the market prices. Recycle buckets. So there's doggone about 6 rooms. I've had to actually kind of move rooms due to how I've been doing my extensions. Right now, I am in one of the bungalow rooms, which I will show you at this time. This is great. This is always my favorite space to just sit out, play on my computer, drink coffee, relax, not be in a hurry. You know, do some of the other places have all that in San Juan? Maybe some do, maybe some don't. Leave a comment down below where else you have been on this island that's reasonable and practical for longer term staying at a price point where so it's like a queen size bed almost and a third bed, this bungalow shower. They've just finished putting the hot water heaters in all but the bunk room here. They do have a generator, so I've only been like in brownout, no power conditions for a little while one morning. And I'm not sure what that was all about, but it's been totally consistent. All the rooms have air conditioning. And the owner, Whisley, he's on site like every day. She keeps these rooms so clean. So it's a great place. There are roosters next door, so bring earplugs. But I'm trying to imagine where else you could get the kind of bang for the buck that this is giving. She's hanging out in the hammock up on the second. And there's lights in this structure, so in the evening, you know, sometimes people will be hanging out there. So I'm not going to preach to you that you should follow the global news, keep your finger on the pulse of geopolitics, but there is a pretty large conflict going on in the world right now. When I got here on Siquijor Island, a price for a liter of unleaded and premium gasoline was 62.5 pesos. Here we are 3 to 4 weeks later, and we're just about to hit 100 pesos. So it's like, oh, the pain at the pump is real. And they have another delivery coming. They won't know what the price is gonna be, but everybody's saying like, oh, count on like 107.50 or something like that. Yeah. Yesterday, I went to one of the caves. There's a lot of caves on the island, and something about the crews of people that were rolling up and the price tag they were asking to get in before you get a guide. I don't know, something about it my gut feeling, I was like, I'm gonna go find something else to do. The owner of the guest house I've been staying in, he really insisted, like, come here and do this. Sambulawan. It's a bit of a sporty ride to get here, but this is super cool. I have been in big caves, elaborate caves, lots of sciencey stuff to talk about caves, and this is one of the most like immersive experiences. It's very visceral because you move through the river of water. Well, it's year-round, every minute of the day, 27 to 28 degrees Celsius, which, to just put that in plain English, it's like perfect. You could sit in that water all day and not get too hot or too cold. So it's spring-fed from the back of the cave. Come to the information desk and you will pay them 250 pesos per person to get in. You can leave the key to your vehicle with her so that, right, because you're going to be in the water. Then at the end, tip your guide from the heart, up to you. They give you headlamps to take with you. Everybody's got to wear a life jacket. I mean, and I'm pretty comfortable in the water, but it's a really smart thing. You know, size of group, should you come alone? I did, and I had a great time. The canyon you move through is narrow enough anyway. You can only move one person through at a time. That's your stairway down to Sambulawan, the underground river cave. What do you think of when you hear the word voodoo, sorcery, black magic? Well, whatever you think of, that might be a mirror into your own sets of beliefs, education level, open-mindedness. Yesterday, when I went to the cave where I turned around and went to go do something else, along the way, I had seen up in that portion of the mountain signs for healers. And I had already done some research anyway to understand that there are shamanic traditions here on the island. And there's a lot of mythology that turns different directions with different value judgments going back 500 years. And rather than go to one of the ones with the nice, fancy, expensive signs with tuk-tuks out front, groups of people that have been chartered there, while I backed away from going on the cave adventure, I was on a back mountain road and two ladies were walking with their laundry, and I said, hey, if you were going to do this, where would you go? And interestingly, they said, oh, go to the building that's attached to the Catholic Church, you know, take a couple of turns. There's no sign. You wouldn't know about it unless... And so I went on this adventure expedition to find a healer just to see what it was all about, because I've heard that they'll do palm reading, card reading. Anyway, so I end up through a series of groups of little old ladies sitting around talking and find my way into, and you walk in through this, you got to pull the sheets aside and walk in. You would never even know that that's what's going on in here. So I went and had my palm read and my cards read. And what happened? Well, it was fascinating. Is it anything beyond superstition and like a horoscope? That's up to you, but it was impressive how they seem to, through the read, understand symbolic, powerful themes in my life. And when they did the cards, they broke it up into past, present, and future. And when they had like a strength of conviction about something, they would just say something. And then if they were sort of getting a mixed message, they would ask about something, and I could be like, oh, no, not really. And so it went from there, ultimately arriving at, God, if nothing else, it was a great time. And at the end of the future thing, you know, just some warnings that kind of amount to, so it was really good. I mean, the one lady was probably, the ladies on the road had said, oh, they don't even speak very good English, but they'll try. So the one who was kind of running the whole conversation, she must have been in her 60s, maybe early 70s, who is with like the matriarch sitting there, who says she's 95 years old, 94, 95. And she says, oh, you know, and she doesn't speak very good English. So they're kind of working together on the translation. And she says, oh, my sister, who's 105, but kind of some days struggles walking up the hill. And I'm like, oh my God. It was really a neat experience, to the point that I almost wanted to go find like a second or third person to visit. Now, you may be sitting there judging me with your conviction and things you've heard and saying, I would never do that. Well, let's just walk some things back a little bit, because there's mythology about this island dating back to the 1500s, people using words like voodoo, witchcraft, black magic. Now let's just tone down the conversation a little bit, because first of all, let's address this from the paradigm of my American roots. And in the United States, the history and storyline of voodoo, right, our organized establishments are pretty quick to put bad and try to make everybody think of evil things. But remember that a voodoo doll was nothing more than a medical chart, and the needles of the voodoo doll were a treatment record for enslaved peoples and their folk healers or shamans or whatever you want to call it, to keep a treatment record of what they've been doing using herbalistic medicine. However you want to slice it, don't misinterpret something that doesn't even claim to be magic in the first place, and then project that out onto people in a way that can have a really negative. Anyway, so the Catholic Church planted its flag in surrounding islands somewhere in the mid-1500s. It took more than a century before they actually planted flag on this island. And some of that is because of the rumors and the fears of this. So even though 95% of the native population of this island identifies outwardly as Christian or Catholic, the old shamanic and healer practices still exist alongside that expression of religious faith. So, you know, the two things can coexist peacefully in this world. When people say it's an island of fire and magic, you also have to understand that the Isla del Fuego is just a reference to When the Legazpi expeditions arrived here, that fire reference was about the swarms of fireflies that they would see in the trees all over the mountainside. And you can still to this day see remnants, though fireflies are kind of dying off around the world. Now, when it comes to the mythology and narrative of Siquijor being a healing island, what's the reality and what's the truth like there? Well, I mean, I don't know exactly, but from a botanical standpoint, there are hundreds of endemic native species of plants that were used in those traditional. So before you dismiss the ancient folk ritual of healing, understand that one of the most world-changing advances in medical practice came from the discovery of penicillin, an antibiotic, from a moldy orange peel. So, like, to just, if you don't have research to back you up as we can prove or disprove the thing, I wouldn't be too quick to judge either way. In fact, I'd come see for yourself if on a metaphysical plane, if this is a healing place for you. You know, the first few days I was here, I was like, man, just once again, so much of the content out there is just not telling an accurate story compared to what the experience of being here actually feels like. While it may not be the most realistic thing in the world to talk about living here, I think if you identify which part of the island you could enjoy staying in, whether San Juan is your thing, or kind of out in the province, so to speak, is your thing, or up on the mountain because the temperatures are so much cooler up at elevation here on this island. Airbnb has a whole host of options available if you do what I hope to do the next time I come back here, which is like sign up for a month at a time. Man, you can just get so lost in the treasure hunting, so to speak, like the Seek Your Own Adventure treasure hunting. There's just caves and waterfalls and just having fun exploring and trying all the different locally owned food stalls around the island. Could be so much fun. Really digging deep on some of the secret beaches out there. Now, if you're sitting there like, oh, you shouldn't even be bringing any of this up. Well, at one point, a sign at the port of entry to the island saying there is no witchcraft or mysticism or like sorcery happening here, which, you know, if you understand Western reverse psychology, you see a sign like that and you're like, oh my gosh, let's go see what this is all about, because obviously somebody's lying to us. So it's complicated chewing on and interpreting all of this, but you know, I haven't seen anything that would even, that you could use the word magic or sorcery next to, but it is a very, very special place. It is full of incredibly friendly people. There are visitors from all over the world where there are conflict between our places, you know, where we come from, and everybody just seems to get along here. It's just such a cool island. Don't do yourself the injustice of staying too short of a time. Find somewhere in the middle where you can take your time exploring all of the things that there are to do here, because the fun kind of exists in that middle space of the getting there, the getting lost. And just as important as, if not more important, is where you, that downtime where you're sitting on the beach, taking in the sunset, which brings up a whole nother point, because one mistake I've seen so many people making is this place, this island, the sunset here is, the only other place I've seen it like it in my life probably is in the Hawaiian Islands. And the same people do the same thing there, where as soon as the sun crosses the horizon, as soon as it disappears, people just get up and walk away and go do, you know, oh, let's go out to the club or whatever. And you're making a huge mistake by doing that, because that's when the show really starts. So for the next 30 to 60 minutes on this island, if you are on a west-facing beach, or even on that walkway right at the port, oh my God, it is like on a semi-clear day, it is this light show that it just, this constantly shifting palette of hues that then if the water is still, because it's not too stormy, say out off the, you know, the Pacific side of the island sending, but anyway, if it's a smooth surface on the water, that mirror-like silvery dance of slight variations in that color scheme is just stunning. So stay put wherever you're at. Heading from Siquijor to San Juan, this is Tambisan Port. So it's just a concrete dock. You come out here sunset, so the sun is going to set right behind Negros Island. You can see across the strait, you'll see the lights of Dumaguete. You barely see the southern tip of Cebu Island right over there, but on a clear sky night, there aren't many bright lights around here at all, so you can see the stars pretty crystal clear. So we're in the middle of like a mangrove. So this can be really nice because it's so quiet around here in the evening and night. Nobody else comes to visit, really. Guys are out fishing a little bit, but you can just lay back, stare at the stars, and hear the tapping of the water against the bottom of the boats. Man, very, very pleasant. So just a little bit closer to San Juan, going away from Siquijor town again. This is the other port of Tambisan. So at night, both of these ports are totally free to get into, free to park, free to hang out, which is the great thing. And from here, watch the sunset over Negros again. If you're here after dark, the local spearfisher guys, they'll be down in the water, and it's kind of cool. They'll shine their lights so you can see it all lit up, you know. But again, we got sort of the volcanic rock forest stuff going on. Good sunset spot, nice and quiet. The cool thing is, right in these trees, I've seen swarms of fireflies. So a little more room to move, stretch out, lay down. Nobody cares that you're out here. I mean, and almost nobody of foreigners. There's lots of locals kind of hanging out, but I'm pretty sure I've been the only foreigner in the time. Park your bikes right here, into the road. Yeah, right where all those kids are, where they're waving at you, that's where the fireflies are hanging out. I've seen them. There is one bright light here that kind of gets in the way of seeing the stars, but if there's like no super bright moon out and the sky is clear, man, you can see that Milky Way. So check this one. Just down this road is the ferry port terminal, the main one in Siquijor town actual. We're coming uphill from the church, the main cathedral, and the old bell tower. So we're moving on if you're getting off a boat, it's the right-hand side of the church and the bell tower. And you could be really hungry either when you're coming or going, or in my case, I just like a really good value for my peso, for my dollar. So you might find yourself doing what I do, which is going to Joel's Lechon Manok, and I'll show you what's going on inside. So there's a lot of space in here for big groups of people. And I think it's pretty popular for people getting on and off of the ferry boats, but I got a half a chicken, one serving of rice, vegetables, 205 pesos. Now, if you want to be doing something like the locals do, this roadside spot is open till 10 o'clock at night, every night. Here's where we are. We're on the main road in Siquijor town. The curve that way, that is the boulevard, the seawall. So it's the first real establishment you'll see. As soon as it gets dark outside, it's lit up real bright. Can't miss it. There's tons of locals here. Check out what we got. So we got some spicy beef, which I have had and I love it. We've got pork steak, 100 pesos for the bowl, 100 pesos. You've got the bulalo, right? That's the bulalo. That's 400 pesos because it comes in a much bigger bowl, much bigger serving. It's a beef base. Then you've got beef skin is what that is. 100 pesos. And then the beef steak soup, 100 pesos. So you have until 10 o'clock at night, which is as good. So take a look at what our options are here. Got some lumpia, pancit, different beef and pork. But I do recommend the bowls of bulalo. So they got the big kettle pots of the broth, open 24 hours a day. Annabelle's 24/7 Express Diner. I get hungry late at night, and this is actually my every other night thing. They got good prices, the food's pretty good. Just set back from the main circumferential highway. The park with the spring pool is 1 block that way. Siquijor town. This is the only other place on the island that serves food 24 hours a day that I'm aware of. I don't think in the smaller villages, but San Juan and here in Siquijor, those are your two choices if you're up late at night. Das Traum one stop. So I've been here a few times. Your must tries at the stand down here at the end. It's a fish and egg, kind of a croquette patty. So from her, I got one of those, one lumpia, one pork and vegetable ball, and one ball that's balangawai, fish and eggplant, and one rice. I owe her 107 pesos. It looks like a lumpia, but they call it a bamboo shoot, and he does the deep fry on it. Has meat inside, so good. And I had one of those. I had the chop suey vegetables. I had the caldereta. And the pork menudo. So I owe this table 210 for all that. That brings my total to 317 pesos. I came in because I hadn't seen this place on Agoda, and it's called the Seafront Guesthouse. Yeah. That's right? Okay. So you get 2 single beds, good for 2, hot water, air con. That's your view out the sunset. Mini fridge, 2nd story view. Oh, you want to show me? There's a family room too. But what I have to tell you, because they're not on Agoda or Booking, they're only on Airbnb, but your best bet is to reach out to them on Facebook, because the cash rate is 1,200 pesos per night. Okay. Complete the picture. It's a queen room, 1,200 pesos per night on this one also? Yeah. Oh, free, that all those prices include free breakfast. You got your room, you step outside, boom, that's what you are looking at. Are you kidding? So that's gonna do it for this chapter of Siquijor Island. I hope you have found this informative, entertaining. Give it some time of your life if you are in this part of the world, in this part of the Philippines. Siquijor Island is a very, very special place, and I will see you in the next one.